What's going on, guys? I am Switters. Welcome back to the channel. And Lee Ross popped onto Twitter today. He doesn't always. I've been following him for, I don't know, a few years at least now on Twitter. He just disappeared off of Twitter for about a little while ago, like a year and a half ago maybe, and kind of just occasionally now just seems to pop back on every once in a while. And then when he does jump on, everybody always starts to ask him, including myself, hey, what about this? What about that? What are you doing now? Was there this? Was there, any more zombies coming from you? Blah, blah, blah. And he just said, you know what? Okay, ask me anything. As you can see here, I'll answer where I can. Let's go. So there are some fascinating answers in here to some really good questions. And one thing in particular, and we'll get to it. I'm not going to go through all of these, by the way, because there's so many of them. But one thing in particular, it broke my heart. As a Zombies player and as an IW Zombies lover, you guys know at this point, if you've been watching me for a while play Zombies, IW Zombies is my second favorite Zombies mode of all time. BO3 is number one for me. IW Zombies is number two, not part two. But I also think that IW Zombies is also the most pure fun that you can have while playing Zombies. It's just a great time. Nothing is taken too seriously. Nothing is, over the top, dramatic or anything like that. It's just a good story. Fun characters playing really fun map. Again, for me, Zombies in Spaceland is a top 3 all-time map. As purely as a map, I think Rave in the Redwoods, the Easter egg is definitely too basic, too easy. But as a map in and of itself, Rave in the Redwoods, I think is right up there with everything else that any Zombies has ever put out. Again, the Easter egg brings it down overall, but the map itself is just great. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm not going to go through all of these. Like I said, there's just far too many of them. There's just some really interesting things that come along here, though, and I wanted to just kind of discuss some of them with you. So you tell me what you think about all this stuff. Like I said, I'm kind of heartbroken. You'll see when we get to that. As you can see, the first response right here is from me. How much would we have to raise in the Kickstarter to get you to develop another Zombies game? He answered 10 million, obviously joking around. And I replied, hey, let's get on it, but, it's not going to happen. But anyhow, he's working at a studio now called Sumo Digital. You can look them up if you like. I'm not sure which game he's working on. He does go on to say later in this thread that it's something that he thinks could truly be incredible, truly be awesome. It's not Zombies, it's not anything like that. But he just says, the game could be amazing. So if you want to check out their studio, Sumo Digital, look it up. Lee's personal favorite non-IW Zombies map, Mob of the Dead, apparently. Any noteworthy scrapped ideas, concept art for IW Zombies you wish you had made it into the game? We almost shipped Extinction 2, and it crushed me when we shelved it. This is something that's been known now for a little while. I don't think it was him. I think it was Brian Bright that had mentioned it, again, on Twitter, that Extinction 2 had been in development. They had a Lee later says in this thread here that they had a fully functioning prototype of Extinction 2. I have no love for Extinction. I played one of the maps one time, I think. I know some people really love it. It wasn't for me, but again, I didn't really ever give it a chance. So that being said, it doesn't mean much to me, but I know some of you were like, oh man, we could have had an Extinction 2, would have been great. And he does, again, in this thread go on to say it was going to be huge, like everything blown out times 100, like bigger, badder, just awesome. Again, I can't really discuss how things were in Extinction. I just didn't play it, but he tried to get Thriller by Michael Jackson. You guys know how great the music is, especially on Zombies in Spaceland. You know how amazing that music is. He wanted to get Thriller by Michael Jackson, but there's no way. He probably would have charged $50 million or something to put it in there. There's just no way it was ever going to happen, but it was something that he wanted to do. Okay, this is the one that gets me. This is the one that breaks my heart. Was IW Zombies 2 ever started, or did you know there was never going to be a number 2? It was started. Just that they had plans for it, and that it was in some form of development. I'm sure there probably wasn't even any maps or anything like that. Although, who knows, to be honest with you, you never really know with Activision. they can kind of just change their minds midstream and just go, you know what? No, we're not doing this. Or like they did last year, say, okay, you know what, Sledgehammer, you don't have this zombies anymore. Treyarch, it's in your lap now. You have 5 months. Good luck. So you never know. I mean, I don't remember when he left. Lee went to, after he left Infinity Ward, he went over to Treyarch to work on Black Ops 4. And he says later in this that he worked on the zombies there and he worked on Blackout. But I don't remember how long he was around IW after IW actually came out. So I don't know what stage of development IW Zombies might have been in, but just that there was something planned, that they had ideas for it, that they were moving forward, at least in their minds, with doing a sequel to it. It just kills me that we're probably never going to see that. Now, you can't say never, and in this business, it seems like a lot of people go back and forth between studios from one to another to back again to, some bridges might be burned on one side or the other. But then there's always new people that take over, and, especially like who knows now? Xbox is Microsoft buying out Activision and owning Call of Duty. You never know, but oh my God, I would love to see an IW Zombies 2. It would make my day, man. It would make my year. And here's just another little thing. Is there any possibility that one day we could find out where the IW Zombies was going to go next? Even if it doesn't actually happen, just knowing where it was going to go, if there was ever a continuation, would be really cool. Yes, that's possible. I just want to know, like, even if I don't ever get a chance to play it or see it, if it never comes out, just to know what he had in mind, because there was a much bigger picture going on. Like at the end of that, you beat everything and then you beat it again, all the maps, and then you go into the Mephistopheles boss fight. And there's a kind of a cute little, fun little factoid coming up about that, by the way. But that was just the beginning. Willard was kind of a pawn in this whole thing. Like, he made kind of a deal with the devil. Like, he was just trying to please, there's just so much story that, like, it was just beginning. Now, some people will be like, there wasn't that much story in this stuff. I don't know what you're even talking about. Well, there was. It just was, like, if you go back to Raven the Redwoods and you do, like, all the little, the side Easter eggs for all the weapon charms that you get, each time you do a charm, there's 3 different quotes that you'll get after you complete that little mini Easter egg. And it's all story. All of it is story, and it's all about Willard. And then later in Attack of the Radioactive Thing, there's Willard's black book next to the pool in the motel. And there's 18 different quotes in that. Again, just more and more and more story. So you could say, well, they didn't tell it in the best way. Like, you didn't just get it as you were playing the game. Like, okay, fair enough. But you did get plenty of story. They definitely did it better than Cold War did, at least with, finding scraps of paper on the ground. And actually, now that I'm thinking of it, in Shaolin Shuffle, there's when you do one of the side Easter eggs, when you find the scripts, you have to use the clocks to go back in time and do that kind of stuff. Depends on which character you're playing, but you get more story with each of the characters there as well. So there was plenty of story in IW Zombies, and it was really just the beginning. The funny thing about this one is I actually had an idea that I put out on Twitter or maybe one of my streams or something like that, kind of as halfway as a joke, but I was saying there should be a Zombies Stranger Things crossover. Well, if you could make one more Zombies map, what would the setting be like? Like how Zombies in Spaceland was in an amusement park in the 80s. Lee's response, Zombies in Spaceland, but on the upside down from Stranger Things. I would remix the map opening, new routes, new Easter eggs, new enemies, new weapons, and new storyline explaining why. How cool would that be? I mean, if you guys are fans of Stranger Things, you could just get the visual of Zombies in Spaceland, but in the upside down, and all the various enemies and creatures and stuff that could be living inside of it. That would be awesome. I mean, it would be an expensive crossover for them to do, I'm sure, but I mean, again, it's Activision. They make billions and billions and billions a year on Call of Duty alone. So, I mean, it would have been so cool. Again, somebody asked about, the story from IW Zombies continuing, and he just confirms, yes, there definitely was. And then right below that, Any setting for a zombies map you always wanted to do, but never came to be. And his response was hell. One, we kind of a little maybe had a glimpse of what that would be like in the Mephistopheles boss fight. But think if they did something along the lines of Dante's Inferno, going through the 9 levels of hell. You know, it starts off with the least offensive people in hell. I mean, they made it to hell, so they weren't great, and then they work their way down into the most egregious, worst people, and that did the most horrible things. I mean, it boggles your mind. I mean, if any of you have ever read Inferno, you know what I'm talking about, but it boggles your mind what they could have actually done with that. Then we were talking, we probably would have got fairly serious, though. It wouldn't be as jokey as IW Zombies, but man, if they did what I'm saying, like suggesting using Inferno as a kind of roadmap, but wow, that would have been an amazing setting for a zombies map. And this is what I was mentioning as far as Extinction 2. How far along was Extinction 2? How playable was it? Fully functioning prototype map with combat, base building, and combat classes. Again, Extinction doesn't really mean anything to me, but I know some of you, it will be a very big deal that, you know, as I am about IW Zombies 2, not ever coming to be, that Extinction 2 never came to be, I'm sure, is just heartbreaking for some of you. I mean, some people's worst or least favorite, I guess I should say, step in all of IW Zombies is the Attack of the Radioactive Thing chemical step. And basically this guy's just asking who was responsible for that. The chemistry steps were legit put together by the effing mad scientist Brian Bright and crew. Listening to them make the steps more and more complex was music to my ears. Brilliant effing team of creatives. And I got to give them that. I mean, I think the people that worked on the IW Zombies did, again, I love it. I absolutely love it. I won't keep saying that, and that step is very hard. I don't think I would have ever been able to figure it out, but once you know it, like I still need to have a guide like for all the various chemicals and the numbers and everything that you need to do, but it's not that bad once you know it, but it is a difficult step. I will completely agree with that. This is what I was mentioning earlier as well. What was it like working at Treyarch when you were there for a while, and what was your main thing while there for Black Ops 4? Treyarch was a unique beast, incredibly talented crew with massive ambitions. My input there was zombies and Blackout. Are there any secret Easter eggs that were not found on IW? To my knowledge, you found them all, except for, I think it's just little T's. I think we got them all. And I've gone through and done all of them, all the side quests, all the challenges, all that stuff. I love spending time on IW Zombies. What's your favorite IW Zombies map? Also, what is your favorite version of the playable characters? Map is Zombies in Spaceland. Character is Willard. The stuff that he was doing, he was going to go on to do, was going to make the Treyarch storyline look like child's play. I mean, just think of the possibilities. There's just so much, like, it kills me, man. It kills me that we didn't get this. I want this more than you guys have any idea. I want an IW Zombies 2. Oh, it just kills me. And again, a little bit more for the Extinction 2 fans. Can you tell us a little, or Extinction fans, I should say. Can you tell us a little bit more about what Extinction 2 had? The sentence is framed weirdly. Extinction 2 had to over. Was there any significant change to the formula or improved upon? What was there? Samantha was going to go full effing villain. Cryptid types were expanding massively. I would have taken that story to a place where we explained that we were merely an extension of the cryptids. Lots of lore and kind of creating into it and kind of just blowing it out and making it bigger and badder. And this is Lee's personal ranking of all the zombies games that have been out there. IW first, of course. BO2, BO3, World at War, World War II, Cold War, and then Vanguard. No BO4 in there. I think he just forgot it. I don't know where it would have gone for him, but no BO4 in there for some reason. Were any of the IW Zombies characters going to return for IW Zombies 2? Every single one. Legendary photo here. You guys know it. Don't need to explain it. First off, Infinite Warfare is probably my favorite Zombies experience I've had, but my question is, will we ever see you develop another Zombies experience? I loved IW Zombies story, and I want to see it continue one day. If given the opportunity, 100%, but I need complete creative control and no BS studio head involvement. I mean, can we start writing letters, guys? Like, let's start a letter writing campaign and forget the Kickstarter for 10 million because we won't get there, but we can do a letter writing campaign, right? Here, Lee mentions he would have loved to have had William Shatner as another character in the game, but just couldn't get him. He wanted him to actually play Neil. He mentions that later down in the thread here, but again, you can check all this out on Twitter if you want to. Just go to Lee Ross's page. Were we ever going to see some of Willard's original films, such as Nightmare Summer, Murder High, etc.? Undecided, but what I can tell you is I damn near rolled the entire Treyarch universe into Willard films. Yeah, I was out for blood, lol. So imagine him putting all of the characters and all the multiverses and everything like that into Willard films and just kind of creating and moving things around there. Talk about a crossover that we could have had. If you could go back and change one thing from IW Zombies, what would it be? It would have a sequel. Amen, brother. Where was the story going from IW Zombies after the big reveal at the end? Straight to hell. Again, he was talking about wanting to do a map in hell, and apparently that's exactly where we were going to go in part 2. Okay, this is a funny little one. I always wondered, was this supposed to be you because you were technically the director of the whole thing? The Powerhouse animation team was given a script for the scene by me, and since I didn't provide the details of the silhouette, they sent this across. So he didn't even mean to be in the final reel there in the game, but he didn't provide a character silhouette for them to animate and to put in. So they were like, well, we'll just use him apparently. And he didn't want to, but he shared it with his team, and they were all like, oh yeah, we got to do this. This would be great. So I think it's a great touch. I think it worked. I loved it. What are the odds of you possibly working with Deviation Games in the future with a brilliant mind like yours? That's, just in case anybody doesn't know, that is Jason Blundell's new studio that he co-owns with another person that was from Treyarch back in the day. And Lee's response is never say never in this industry. So you never know. He might end up back at working on Call of Duty Zombies. He might end up going over to Deviation. He might stay where he is. He might start his own thing. He might just end up somewhere else. You just never know. How hard was it to come up with the IW Zombies maps? The original concept came from our lead level designer, Brittany Maxey. She was incredibly passionate about the locale, and the map layout proved it. Hands down, the best level designer Zombies has seen yet. I was lucky enough one day, I put on Twitter every time I'm about to go live, I put on Twitter, hey, put up a tweet of the stream so people can come over and find it. And he saw my tweet and he's like, oh, I'm going to drop in. And then he stopped by the stream. There was like 2 people watching at the time. And I was asking him about, and yes, it was absolutely him, by the way. It was confirmed on Twitter by me. I said, hey, thanks for dropping by. And he was like, no problem, man. It was great. Glad you liked the game. Which I actually think I have that saved as like a screenshot. But I asked him about Zombies in Spaceland, and how it came to be, how they created it, why did they think of doing that? And he mentioned, that it was Brittany Maxey. She got the idea from Zombieland, the film. And just thought it would be a great setting, a great place for a zombies map. And it absolutely was. They did a phenomenal job with Zombies in Spaceland. Again, top 3 map of all time for me. Maybe top 2, to be honest with you. I don't know. In your mind, what's the synopsis of the sequel to IW Zombies? The antagonist, Willard Wyler team up with the main characters. Lee's response, too big to explain here, but I'll spill when Codename Pizza hosts me one of these days. So, I guess subscribe to Codename Pizza? I don't know why I'm plugging him. I got 1,800 subscribers. He's got almost 1 million. But if that's what it takes, let's get Lee, let's talk to Pizza. Everybody send him a message like, hey man, get him on to talk about IW Zombies 2, just to hear about what it would have been. I mean, again, I would love that. I just want to know. I mean, I would love to play it. I would love for it to come to fruition, but the chances of that happening are probably pretty slim. So I would like to at least know what was planned. Okay, and this will be the last one I leave with you guys. But again, you can go check this out on Twitter. There are more. This has probably gone on even longer than I expected. I just thought it was fascinating, some of these answers and some of his responses to the questions. Just, And again, just the idea of an IW Zombies 2, it just goes through my brain and makes me so sad that we probably will never actually see it. But we'll leave you on a little funny one here. Why did we never get a skin of you in Infinite Warfare? Modern Warfare 2, maybe? Lee's response was, that would be too much. I prefer a Samoyed dog character created by the original artist. Now, if you don't get that, you just don't get it. But those of you that do, you get it. Anyways, guys, that's it. Again, go check out the rest of this on Twitter. You just, again, go to his page. Lee, you can see it right there, at 23_Lee Ross. There are plenty more questions and answers that he goes through, and I didn't go through everything down to this point. Just wanted to throw this out there. I found it fascinating. Maybe you did too. That's it, guys. Drop a like, subscribe, and I will catch you in another video soon.